Hi there, I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapin.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, we're here at Parker Rooftop. Jim, we haven't filmed here for some time.
It is good to be back. We were here late in 2023, but the place is thriving. People love it, and we're happy to be here.
We have so many great decks.
They do, as you're looking at right now. Anyway, lots to get to here on Our City Tonight.
This segment is brought to you by Bosa Foods, with 2 locations to serve you. Bosa Foods, authentic Italian.
Well, we're back here at the Kootenay Street location, Bosa Foods. One of our TV superstars is joining us again. Christina is joining us. Good to have you back.
Thank you, Jim. Always happy to be here.
I know it is now because you've been doing TV for a while with us. We got a special guest here from all the way from Italy we're going to talk to because it's his company right in front of us that he works for. Stefano, welcome.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Great to have you here. We're going to talk about specific brands here today. And one of the great things that I love about working with Bosa is you guys have really educated us on specific brands and certain fields of food. Tell us a little bit about why Stefano is here and what the brand is. We'll start with you, Christina.
Thank you. Thank you, Stefano, for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And coming here to share with us the beautiful balsamic vinegars from Modena. We were lucky. Our team was in Modena last May, to meet Stefano and Claudio, and went to Casa Giusti and had an amazing tour at the Family Museum, the ancient tasting room, right? Yeah. Or aging room.
Yeah, museum,
boutique.
Yeah.
And got to learn so much about these balsamics. And for me, well, what an eye-opener to see how this is made. Like with the barrels and the aging barrels of 5 aging barrels for centuries and 4 centuries.
Batches.
Like 4 centuries.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty cool. Like I would never have thought the process or how much went into making such an amazing product.
And we should say Giusti, of course, a dependable company you can rely on. They've been around since 1605.
And we're still there.
They're still here, actually. First put samples in the post, folks, in 1880. So, as Christina said, tell us a little more about Giusti. A great history, obviously.
Yeah, as you correctly said, we established in 1605, so we are the oldest producer of balsamic vinegar from Modena, which is a very strong land about food, about Italian food. It's also known as Food Valley. We have balsamic vinegar, we have Parmigiano Reggiano, and many top chefs come from that land. We have been awarding all across the centuries with many medals. We expose all our balsamic during the World Expos, the first shows that we had during human history on late 19th century. Such as the one in Paris, where in 1889, where the Torrefari was presented. Yeah. So we won several medals that we still use to classify our different qualities of balsamic. If you see at our labels even nowadays, it's a mix, it's a blend of our heritage. You see all the medals won more than 1 century ago. You see the royal seal on the neck of the bottles since we were called from the royal family, the Savoy family.
In what year?
In 1929.
1929,
more or less 1 century ago, as the official supplier for balsamic to the family.
And chefs all over the world, Christina, we'll get you to wrap this up. Chefs all over the world are pursuing the Giusti balsamic, but your customers can get it here at both your stores.
Yes, well, these balsamic vinegars from Giusti are used by the top chefs all over the world. And the versatility of these products are amazing, and we really want to share it with our customers so they realize that it's not traditionally you just use it on a salad. There are so many versatile recipes that you can have with balsamic vinegars, which we will be showcasing on our show today.
Well, Christina mentioned food and the nice mixture of balsamic vinegar, but we're going to do cocktails first because you turned Lita and I onto this. Balsamic in cocktails. Go ahead.
Yes, very good. Well, actually, this one is a Negroni, and actually, this is my favorite cocktail. It's my cocktail of choice, and today we actually have it with a twist from Giusti.
Yeah, I'm glad to prepare your favorite cocktail.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. We prepare it with 1/3 of Campari Bitter,
Yeah.
Ferrero Martini, Red Martini,
Yes.
and gin, of course, and an addition of our 5 gold medals, which I don't know if you are aware about it, was the one used also by Stanley Tucci when he came to visit us
Oh, yeah,
at
nice.
our museum.
Yeah, yeah.
And he
Stanley Tucci,
prepared,
right?
Yeah.
he prepared his own Negroni using our 5
So,
gold
I
medals. So
think-
we try to innovate,
Exactly.
the category of balsamic,
Yeah.
not just adding to food, great Parmigiano Reggiano and fresh pasta, but also in cocktails. And it works really well.
It works really well
Yeah.
and has a great twist to it and a
Yeah.
great flavor.
Well, from cocktails, of course, finally to the food. Scott joins us, another regular from Bosa on Our City tonight. And Scott, let's talk about what we're doing here, what you can do, a great variety of food.
Thank you, Jim. Great variety of food. So we learned a little bit about balsamic today. Beautiful, special balsamic vinegar from Giuseppe Giusti. And, you know, as you can see, we did a nice prosciutto margherita pizza with arugula and tomato. So it pairs nicely with savory, pairs nicely with sweet. And if you guys are into it, I'll give you a slice of my
Yes,
pizza.
please do.
Yeah?
No, I don't think we're
Me
hurt.
too. Me too.
Stefano, while
Yeah.
Scotty is doing that, let's talk about just, as Scott said, the variety of what Giusti offers for this kind of variety of foods.
Thank you. We play a bit with different balsamic in this case, so we match our 2 gold medals, which is very fresh, refreshing balsamic, which is very Mediterranean pizza. Then on a super roasted pork here and some potatoes, we go for our 3 gold medals, which is very intense, very thick, has this great balance between sourness and sweetness. And then finally, with our super fresh mascarpone, we go for our sweetest 4 gold medals, which is very intense. In a few drops, matches perfectly with this wheel.
Okay, let's do a little
Should we dig
taste.
in?
Yeah.
All right.
Enjoy.
Buon appetito. Oh, yeah. I love the sweetness that comes through.
I got most of it on my lap. Excellent, but absolutely delicious. Scott, I like the fact you're working hard for my food. Tell our viewers exactly what you're doing.
That
It's
is
the
hard work.
Traditional work here.
Yeah, I'm going around the wheel, splitting the wheel, what they call a traditional cut. That's all done by hand with the knives, and I'm going around. I'm scoring the edge, and then I'm going in with the 2 knives, and I work my way around the wheel. Then we split it, and that's a very special 40-month age Reggiano wheel, and that's the traditional way you would do it. And that was taught to me by the legend Bruno Benedette Sr., who taught me how to do these things. And yeah, it's a little skill I picked up along the way.
And you do all that so we can come back to us here. These are the tools Scott used, and this is the, oh boy, this is 40-month age.
40-month age of Reggiano is something very special. So I would turn to Stefano and say, what would you pair with that?
You know, thanks for your effort, for your great effort.
Oh, yes.
So
It is needed for the gym today, actually.
I
a
will
great
see you at your
award.
wedding.
Yeah, I know. You deserve a great award for your job. So here we have our Giusti 50 reserve.
So that's a 50-year-old?
Yeah,
50-year-old. Oh, wow.
It's in barrels that was set up more than 50 years ago.
wow.
Okay, so we are quite lucky that we have many batches
That's
that
amazing.
were set up even more than 1 century ago. So let's try.
amazing.
Oh, wow, we get
With
to try it
super
too.
thick, super dense. Just
Wow.
the essence of balsamic in a few drops on some pieces.
Oh, wow.
And that's it.
A little more on this side, actually.
Oh, yeah, there-
I'm on this side. I'm forgetting about. I'm threatening him with a fork here, but no. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. There we go.
Is it enough?
Yeah.
That looks good.
Oh, some more.
I know.
me
I
try
know
it.
it's a 50-year-old. I'm never going to try this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
This
is
is
your
very
first
special.
great time
Wow.
here.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall
so
we?
let's try.
Our special tools?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wow.
How can we
I
say?
want a big
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Salute.
Hey,
Salute.
thank you for joining us all the way from Italy here at Bosa Foods.
No, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Stefano.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Man, that was good. Cool.
This segment was brought to you by Bosa Foods, with 2 locations to serve you. Bosa Foods, authentic Italian.
This segment is sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
here at the Parker rooftop, and one of our favorite places to be. And well, I'm actually here with one of my favorite people. And how interesting. Some of our viewers may recognize this iconic designer, Shelley Klassen, who has been designing for 25 years. I know you started as a teen or actually even younger. And her boutique, that was Blushing Boutique, has been in the same spot, downtown Vancouver, for 18 years. She's got a huge loyal following. She's been designing beautiful, beautiful clothes for all women for so long. I want to welcome back Shelley Klassen to our city tonight.
Oh, thank you so much, Vita.
Well, it's interesting, Jim and I were talking about this, that we've been we've been doing our show for 10 years. You were on one of the first shows, your boutique was, our third show ever done, and it was our online edition. And throughout the years now, you've been on lots. We've had you on. I've worn your clothes, I've walked in your runway shows. I absolutely adore you. You do beautiful, beautiful designs, and for all women. So, Shelley, I know lots has happened over the last few years, and I'm definitely throwing out a kudos to you for surviving COVID, being a retail outlet. What's new and exciting for Blushing Boutique and Shelley Klassen Designs?
Okay, well, we rebranded. So the store is no longer Blushing Boutique. Throughout COVID, we rebranded to my name, which is Shelley Klassen.
Wonderful.
Which is very exciting. We went online, obviously with COVID. We had been online, but then with COVID, we were focused mainly online. And we really wanted people to know that it wasn't just a boutique carrying other retail labels. So that it was a designer boutique. And everything is made in-house. Everything is designed in-house, made locally in Vancouver. So yeah, COVID was obviously quite tricky to navigate, as many retailers, but thankfully, because we had such a loyal following, we did pivot, into loungewear and cozy wear and anything and everything that we thought would sell at that point in time. And thank goodness that we came through at the other end. And now we are once again pivoting. It's kind of an exciting time. Things have changed quite a bit in many industries, and retail especially. When you're looking at, the economy, COVID, global warming, online shopping.
Yes.
So many different factors have affected personally my business. And it's come to a point where I've realized over the years, I can't be everything for everybody when it comes to designing. And I've noticed so many women struggle finding clothing that actually fits them. And, even researching yesterday, there's something like $1.8 billion worth of unsold clothing a year in the United States alone of old stock. And a major portion of why things are returned are because they aren't fitting properly. And what I found is most of my clients know what works well on their bodies. And so, they might prefer, fit and flare, depending on their body shape. And when they come into the store, they'd say, I'd love that design, but I just can't wear that neckline, or I can't wear that shape. What we're doing this fall is that we're offering clothing where you can customize it to your preference. So let's say the simple top that I'm wearing right now, it's just a velvet, crew neck top. This top is actually coming with a turtleneck that is removable. So turtlenecks are all the rage this fall, by the way. So there's a removable turtleneck, so it's very versatile, but then you can also order it, let's say, with a flutter sleeve if you want to cover the top of your arms, or if you prefer a cap sleeve, or a full-length tight sleeve. So you will have that option to purchase that, and we'll be doing that with a select grouping. It's a soft launch this fall, but this is something that I'm aiming to do on a larger scale as we build different styles. And we're very excited to be able to offer this to people. And
this is so exciting. I am thrilled, and I'm thrilled that you continue to design for this beautiful city. Will you have a physical storefront still?
Yes, I will. The storefront is still going to have items that are ready to wear, ready to wear is how you would say it. So we will have product in store for people who want to come in and have that satisfaction of leaving with something. But we also have an area set up almost as if like a showroom with the different samples. And then online, you will be able to see all the different options online as well.
Wonderful. Well, you heard it here first. How exciting, Shelley's new options in her designs. We want to thank Shelley for coming on with us today, as well as where can people find out more information?
At my website, shelleyclawson.com, as well as my boutique at 583 Richard Street in Vancouver.
Perfect. And we want to also thank our friends at Parker Rooftop. Thanks for hosting us today in their beautiful space.
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
He has reported for the Vancouver Sun, the Victoria Times Colonist, the Globe and Mail. He co-authored a national best-selling book called A Matter of Confidence, which told the inside stories of the last decade of BC politics. He has worked for everybody, but his TV show is weekly and is part of my TV diet each week. It's called Political Capital. Joining us for the first time, the show airs on CHEK TV. It's Rob Shaw coming to us from Victoria, our province's capital. Rob, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me on.
It is a great pleasure, sir. I'm a big fan of your show, and a show like yours is vital to what's going on. I said to you just off camera, had we done this interview a couple weeks earlier, a lot would be missing. Let's start with a bombshell. I've lived here 30 years. I've never seen anything like this. Our viewers may be a bit confused as to what to do if they're a Liberal supporter. Falcon shut his candidacy down to the party. Talk about it from someone who's on the front lines like yourself.
Well, it is an interesting question now that we're down to what is essentially kind of a two-party race here, the BC NDP and the BC Conservatives. What do you do if you're not quite in either camp? And if you are a federal Liberal, if you're a centrist, even if you're a sort of a progressive conservative, if that term even exists anymore, you may not be looking at the BC Conservatives and thinking that that's the party that has your vote. And so I think what we're going to see and what we will be seeing in this campaign is the NDP and the Conservatives trying to move a little bit into the center, a tiny bit, to try and lure away some voters who aren't the sort of extreme members of the left or the right. And that will be the fight in this election, is the urban middle class centrist voters who aren't turning into a lot of politics, but then right before an election do a sniff test and say, where should I go? And that'll be an interesting battle for the parties.
And do you find, I've noticed with Canadian politics federally and living here the last 30 years, that it's a cliche, but voters often vote people out, not in. Often politicians and their governing parties may stay too long. That's certainly, I think, indicative federally. Do you sense a lot of that could be happening?
I mean, certainly what the Conservatives say. They feel this is a change election, 7 years of the NDP, 2 premiers now. There's fatigue in the public on some of the policies, especially the healthcare and the drug addictions decriminalization policies that have fatigued some members of the electorate. The NDP are kind of hoping that because Premier David Eby's only been in power now, replaced John Horgan 2 years ago, that there's still a fresh kind of face on the party. But you're right, like there is a kind of almost 10-year reset cycle that occurs in the minds of voters. We see it federally with the federal Liberal Party and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and we see the Conservatives federally and the Conservatives provincially just waiting for their moment and feeling that fatigue in the air and ready to strike to try and win those votes.
Rob, it's a moot point now because there are no more, at least for the time being, but what was the strategy behind Falcon and his team, changing the party name, which doesn't happen too often? Was it to get away from kind of people's impression of the federal Liberals? Because this is when I moved here, I didn't realize that the Liberals provincially are not what you would say the Liberals are federally.
It was part of the reason that they made that change from BC Liberal to BC United, because the feeling is that the federal Liberals are doing so poorly in the polls that the BC Liberals didn't want to be dragged down by that voter confusion. On the other hand, you have the BC Conservatives embracing the voter confusion with the federal Conservatives because the federal Conservatives are so popular. So even though they're not affiliated with the federal party either. So that confusion amongst voters, the sense that some MLAs tell me that when they go door knocking, if they're a New Democrat, they get asked, how come you're propping up, the prime minister in Ottawa? And it's like, no, that's the wrong level of politics. So you have to be realistic about the minds of voters and the confusion that exists. And I think Falcon was trying to address that. But ultimately, that combined with the rise of the Conservatives, the defections, and a whole stew of political problems conspired to just bring him down at the end of the day.
I'll tell you, someone who's a soccer, or the rest of the world calls it football, I thought BC United could have, it's a soccer team, but okay, that aside.
Yeah.
Rob, you're on the front lines, as I mentioned, wrap this up soon, but what are you hearing from your constituents, the people that you talk to, as the top two issues, let's say, for this election, which is not that far away?
Well, I think housing, which is broadly kind of affordability, and the issue of people feeling hopeless in the future to not be able to live a life like their parents or grandparents lived, is a big one that is playing out here. I think street disorder is another big one. Major urban cities across the province, big and small, people suffering addictions, passed out on the street, crime, homelessness, vandalism. Those seem to be two of the biggest issues. I think you could slide healthcare in there to substitute one or the other, depending on if you live in a rural community where your local hospital is shut down and it's a 5-hour drive to the next facility. So I think those three plus or minus are big areas. And the NDP, 7 years in, are facing the difficulty of showing people that their changes have made things better. And you can argue in those three cases that maybe they haven't, but they're still offering a lot of promises and policy changes. And the Conservatives don't have a lot of policy and policy changes yet, but they're saying they can do things better. So you're going to have a sniff test from voters on who they believe really has the mojo to get into office to actually fix these big issues.
Rob, appreciate you coming on. As I said, I think what you do, your show, is vital to what's going on in society. So for people out there that may be confused as to whom to vote for, party-wise, person-wise, I really recommend you check out Rob's show Sundays, 6 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. on CHEK TV. It's called Political Capital. You can also check out his podcast. He puts everything on YouTube as well. Rob, we thank you for joining us, pal. As a fan of your show, I love what you do. So thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on, Jim.
You're quite welcome, sir. Well, way back a couple of summers ago, we were first introduced to this man on our show at Homer Street Cafe. Sinji Anaba is back. Did I get the last name right? Anaba. Yes, he is the global sales manager for Choya. We did our first segment there a couple summers ago, as I mentioned. Well, here we are at a very, very loud wrap-up to Cocktail Week here in Vancouver, the week-long celebration of all things cocktail. That's where we're talking to Sinji about Choya, and we're going to talk to Andrew, who was in the first show as well way back when. Let's talk about the Choya brand, and we're going to mention a great cocktail that he'll talk about called Choya Breeze. Talk to our viewers a little more about Choya and what we're going to sample, and being here at the Cocktail Week.
Yeah. Oh, hello again. I'm Shinji from Choya. Yeah, so Choya Meshu is a Japanese fruit liqueur. Yeah, but this is a homemade liqueur in Japan. Yeah, making of fruits, sugar, and spirits, aging for 1 year. That's it. Nowadays, so liqueur in the world is too much commercialized.
Yeah.
Using the not artificial, but the coloring, acidity, flavor.
Yeah.
But Choya never ever use these ingredients, only natural ingredients. So you feel very good feeling.
Yeah.
With that drinking, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that, of course, that cocktails with a lot of artificial sweeteners and everything, that you have a couple, they're great, and then you have a headache. That's not the case with here.
Yeah, that's true. Headache means that maybe some ingredients, so that's the reason. So, but Choya is okay.
You have been around your table over there at Choya, as I said, a busy wrap-up night at a VIP party. What have you been hearing from people that are sampling the cocktails with Choya for the first time? What are they saying?
Yeah, so today we offer the Choya Breeze. Yeah, so please enjoy the cocktail, yeah?
Oh, I plan to, actually, after we're done. Well, we're going to talk to the guy who was also on that first episode with Sinji. Andrew, a bar manager from Homer Street Cafe, joins us right after this. Well, another familiar face. The Choya segment started with him way back when, 2 summers ago at Homer Street Cafe, as we mentioned. Andrew McDonald's the bar manager at Homer Street. And you have created, sir, another spectacular cocktail, which I've been sipping before our cameras started rolling. Tell everybody what they can sample. It's a Choya Breeze.
Yes, so this is the Choya Breeze. So highlighting Choya 23, obviously a traditional Japanese umishu. In this, we're using vodka, elderflower liqueur, orange liqueur, pineapple, and lemon. So the idea is like kind of cosmopolitan French martini-esque. Obviously the tropical touch coming from the Choya. They're hard just to have one.
Well, you were the guy that first got me into this, Lena and I, way back when with that first segment. You've just come back from Japan. They must be excited about their brands being such a success in places on the front lines like where you are at Homer Street.
Yes, it's incredible. Choya is a huge brand in Japan. Like you can get it in almost any store. So they're over the moon with the success that's having. It's actually been launching in the US. One of my questions when I was over there is if they were able to keep up. And the amount of Choya they have, I can assure you, there'll be no shortage.
Okay, this is the Choya Breeze. I'm doing this on camera to make it official. Oh, man. Oh, that just, we're springtime and we're right into it. That's a perfect spring drink.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim. Thanks for having me.
Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, thanks for watching, but it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you for watching, as Lena said, and thanks to our friends here at the Parker Rooftop. Great spot to check out no matter what time of the year it is.
Yeah, they've got so many great places to sit and definitely outdoor space.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out our brand new website, ourcitytonightTV.com. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Lee Benz.
See you next time on Our City Tonight.
Don't forget to check out 10 years worth of episodes and individual interviews, all on the Our City Tonight YouTube channel. The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.